Well, good afternoon. Bit of a mad crazy rush today. Yeah, we've had lots going on this week, and today I don't know where the morning's gone. It's just disappeared on me. So fingers crossed we are going live. Excuse me if I keep looking over there. I'm trying to see if we come up on the computer system, but I don't. Oh yeah, well, hey, so I know I'm on Facebook. So if I am on Facebook, thank the Lord, that's a miracle today. Oh, I've been rushing around like I don't know what. I have got so many flowers on this table that I haven't actually got room to spread everything out to show you. Good afternoon, Julie. I haven't even had time to organise my bits that I was going to show you. It has just been bonkers. So I'm just going to chuck it all on here and we'll just have to wing it. So that last hour where I thought, oh, I've got plenty of time to get organised, has flown. Hello, everybody. Hi, Carol. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Pat. So I haven't even chosen what colour I'm going for. So we'll just have a play, shall we? Right, and breathe. Oh, and even Martin's joining us as well. Well, hey. So last week I said if there was anything anybody would like us to show on here. Oh, look, my pictures are on the wall. I think I knocked that with my big butt earlier. Sorry. Yeah, so I asked last week if anybody had got anything they would like me to demo. Hello, Sharon. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Linda. Hi, Jan. You're on both, Jan. Check you out. So we're going to go back to basics and then maybe build on that over the coming weeks. How does that sound? Fingers crossed. Hi, Tina. Hi, Mum. Oh, my Lord, everybody's here. It's a busy day. So let's get started. As I told you, I have got so many flowers on here. Look, they're all piled up. I couldn't get them all on here. Mad. I am in fact going to grab this box because then I've got somewhere to put something when I'm going through it. So lots, I've literally chucked this on here so you can see what we're going to be using. So we have got Versamark ink. We're going to be using also, if we get to it, the Versamark pen, because we get asked about that a lot. I haven't even got room in my secret hiding stash place today, so we'll go in that box. I knew there was a reason I brought that box up here. We have got our blending brushes, which come in the two sizes. They're bouncing a little bit, so we will take that out of there. Sarah, that makes me laugh. You've blocked your calendar out of your lunch break, so you can have your lunch break to watch us. How lovely. So we have our blending brushes in the two different sizes. So that is the smaller size. Buenos tardes, Lorraine. It's a bit sunny here today, but my goodness, isn't it windy? I don't know about where all you are, but it's really windy here today. And then we've got the bigger brush. So our bigger brush comes in the little case. Now, a little trick to these cases. They are slightly... Oh, how can I do this? Something black underneath me. Have I got anything black here? There we go. Something black. Does that show? Yeah, that shows it better. So these cases have like 3 little compartments within them. So with the brushes, put the bristle side to the widest compartment. If you've got these, it will make sense. Tip it back slightly, push it together and close it. Simple as that. Really, really handy brushes. That was one of my picture frames to show you some more flowers. See, I told you I'm absolutely surrounded by flowers today. So we're using the blending brushes. We'll allow you to be a little bit late today, Teresa. Hi, Emma. I did reply to your question, Emma, earlier, and I was going to try and grab some of those backgrounds to show you what I meant. So Emma asked me a question on YouTube about the spare ink that I always seem to mop up when we're doing Facebook Lives. YouTube lives. Yes, I do use it if I'm not Facebook living and I have time to spritz it and faff around with the bits of scrap papers. So and what do I use it for? I do make backgrounds with it, but I also use it to make flowers and things like that with it. So if you don't want to colour them or you don't want to do them on vellum, you can do them onto patterned papers, you can do them onto exactly that, scrap bits of paper that you've used, mopped up, spare ink and things like that. How do I clean my brushes, Teresa? Exactly the same way as you would clean a makeup brush, or just run them under, or rinse them in some warm soapy water or some shampoo. And then if you can, leave them to air dry. They're much better if they're left to air dry. So I hope that answers that question. So we've done Emma's question, we've done your question, Teresa, about the brushes. So we'll carry on. Obviously we're going to be using glue today. At the moment we do only have it in the bigger size, but it will be coming back in the smaller size soon. We have a selection of powders which all look exactly the same. They're all whitish. We have white opal, which is a white powder with a glitter in it. We have white, which is just the plain white embossing powder, which is what we predominantly, or we, as in Mum and I, predominantly use the white. We also have crystal clear, which is a clear powder, and sparkling crystal. Now, if you were going to do your flowers onto some patterned paper and you didn't want the white outline or an outline to show, the crystal clear would be quite nice. Sparkling crystal is a clear powder with a glitter in it, and you can do that over the top of your flowers once you've coloured them. I don't know if we can pick up any sparkle on that. Can you just pick up the sparkle that's appearing on there? Fingers crossed you can. And then it gives all your flowers a sparkle as well. So that's the powders. What else do we need? I might need to keep up that sparkling crystal because I have a feeling I might need to use that in a moment. So we'll pop that up there out of the way. So selections of flowers. As I said, I just literally chucked these on here. They're not even in any order. There we go. If I put that up there, we'll be in an order. So we have loads of different flowers because we are known for our flowers. So I've just grabbed a handful to show you. And hopefully kind of what we do with the ones I'm going to use today is exactly what you can do with all of these flowers. So we'll go through and show you anyway. So little lilies and leaves. Some of them come with an outline die, some of them don't. Don't look too closely at my nails. This one came off, so I've rapidly painted it and I've already chipped it. So little lilies and leaves does come with a die at the moment. It may not always have the outline die because we try and bring in new ones rather than sit on lots and lots of the older dies, so watch that space. We also have Fun Flowers. Fun Flowers doesn't come with an outline die, but is so simple to cut out. Same with Wild Flowers. That also doesn't come with an outline die, but again, really, really simple to cut out. Flowers for Design was one of our first sets of stamps. It did come with an outline die, but as I said, we're bringing in new dies all the time now. So we haven't got the space to keep everything. So this no longer comes with the outline die. So if you do have it, your quid's in if you want to use it. Buttercup Blooms, same thing. It's one of our older flowers, still a really popular flower, but we can't keep everything going. So rather than discontinue the flowers completely, hi Jill, hi Carol, hi Janice, sorry I missed you out there. I'm trying to keep up with you all. So rather than discontinue the flowers completely, we just tend to discontinue the dies, which means we can keep the flowers going because we have to buy the dies in such massive bulks. So Floral Discovery is another one in that same boat, and so is Spring Flowers. So that's a handful of those ones. Floral Elements, Spring Flowers and Vintage Flowers, also the same boat. Can no longer get the dies for these, but they are still available as the stamp. I promise we'll get to them. We have Floral Elements. That doesn't come with a die at all, never has. This one's quite a busy flower, so if you like the detail but don't want to have to do too much to it, this one you would maybe only need to do one or two and just have it as a flower rather than try and make it into something else. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So we have Stitch in Time. This one does come with an outline die, and this one's quite cute. It's got some nice detail within the petals. Trio of Flowers was the first ever stamp we did. Now I don't know if any of you know the history of Honeydew Crafts, but I've been in the craft industry for about 20-ish, 22 years, I think. So I think I was about 25, 26 when I started. I've always crafted. Used to sell lots of other people's stuff in our shop. When we decided to close the shops and go alone, we started our own stamp range. Had 2 pennies to rub together, and we came up with 12 designs. 12 designs, 12 of each is all I started with. Launched them at Edinburgh and this Terry Ross Edinburgh show, and we sold out by lunchtime, which was amazing. So this is the original first ever stamp I ever made, and it's still one of our most popular. It does still come with the outline die for that exact reason. It is still one of our most popular flowers. Really simple to cut out if you don't want the die as well though. Then we have Stars and Stripes. Again, comes with an outline die at the moment. Really, really nice, pretty, easy to use flower. Puts itself together very nicely. Starry Eye is one of Mum's favourites. Again, it comes with the outline die. The outline die doesn't give you all the detail on the leaf. It comes in fairly close on all the flowers. And the one thing I will say, thank you, Lorraine. I will say with all of our dies is none of them will do what I'm going to tell you to do when we get to stamping and cutting out, is cut into the centre. They cut to the edge of where the petals join, but I will half the time, 3/4 of the time, tell you to pass that. The reason we've done that is because not everybody wants to manipulate the flowers like we're going to be doing. And if you don't want to and you just want the flower as it is, you don't want to be cutting right into the middle there. So we've left it with the option that you can have it with or add it in yourself. So fingers crossed it will all come together in a little while. And then last but not least, our Carnations stamp and outline die. Again, this does come with a die. Although it is quite an easy one to cut out, as might sound like it isn't because of all these nooks and crannies on it. I am going to give you a really, really brief rundown on how to make these flowers. We do have some videos on our website, on YouTube and on Facebook to show you how to make this, but I will give you the basics on how to put it all together. I just haven't got any of those cut out. And then the main ingredient is the vellum. I'm going to use some offcuts that I've got hanging around of vellum for my ones, so I'm not breaking into a new pack, because at the moment vellum is so difficult to get hold of, and I hate to say it, so expensive. We have one manufacturer in the country of vellum, and they're not manufacturing at the moment because it's costing them too much to do it. Hence, it is really difficult to get our hands on. In fact, no, it's not even in the UK now, it's overseas. So I lied completely, the UK one has now closed. So we have to, all of it has to come in from overseas on the vellum, unfortunately. So, I haven't even got the craft mat out, look, which I'm going to grab quickly, because it makes my life a little bit easier. So, craft mat. Oh, actually, maybe we'll put that out of the way for 2 minutes while I just show you some of the finished cut flowers. Good grief. Phew. I'm just going to put my arm in and swipe them across, I think. So, if I just keep loading us up. So, Trio of Flowers. This was the original set that I just showed you. And this is some of the different things that you can do with our Trio of Flowers. There are some really, really pretty flowers. Can be made with these. These are all just one set of flowers. As I said, we've got hundreds on there. Some with stamens, some with gems, some with nothing. Some made to look like roses. Some with flower crystals on them. Yeah, you name it. You can do so much with them. Also, don't forget we do have some flower dies. They are slightly larger. So with the flower dies, which I haven't got here with us today, the smallest of the flowers is the biggest of the stamped image, if that, hopefully that makes sense. Oh, that's not good that I'm buffering, how rude. Let's hope that that sorts itself out. So as I say, this is, let me just grab this one because I've got one here. So this is one of our flower dies. It just literally will cut the shape of the flower out with a little bit of detail within the petal. And that's the smallest one of the collection on the dies. The largest one comes to probably about so big, which in comparison is the biggest of the stamps. So trio of flowers done. Wildflowers, we've got hundreds. So this was one that we put on, wild rose, sorry. This is the one that we put on, that we did for TV. So this is a board that we've done. So again, as I said, you can do so many different styles and shapes, and there's loads of dimension on these. If I can just tip that, you can see some of the dimension that's going on there as well. This is 3 of the tiny little ones put together. This is just one big one on its own. You can do so many different things. Again, sorry, this bottom corner here is made into like a rose. So you can do similar things with all of the same flowers. So again, and then we've got one that's just completely flat, no dimension to it at all. Just the 3 different sizes, one on top of each other. That's in white, so it's quite difficult to see, but hopefully that makes sense. Right, where are we going next? I've got so many on here, I don't know where to go to next. Right, so Starry Eye. These are all done with Starry Eye. Where are we? I think that's all the Starry Eye ones I've got down here. And this is, look how cute that is. Just if you had a tiny little tot as a flower girl or something, and you didn't want to give her flowers, proper flowers, real flowers, how sweet would that look? Just a little bunch of flowers for her to hold in her tiny little hands. How sweet would that be? How cute. All done with Starry Eye. So just how different they look, even just by changing the colour. I don't know if I can come in. We'll try, shall we? I'll try and be clever again. Don't think it's going to work for me today. Ah, there we go. So might be able to see it a little easier how different they all are. So this is 3 layers that we've just put, 2 layers. One going one way, one going the other, randomly. These are all folded, twisted to come up. Another one, this one is also 2 layers, but it looks like it's 3 layers because it's got different colours on there. A nice blue one, petal caught there, flip that back where it belongs, and then a blue one that I just pop a gem in the middle of that one as well. So that's our Starry Eye. I'm doing a bit of waffling, we need to buffer this along a little. And then we have got flowers for design. Oh, got caught up here, bear with me. So these ones are all flowers from design, flowers for design, and that works out like a little fuchsia that you can hang. Trying to see how we can. Yes, you can use parchment, so long as it's you can use anything, to be honest, Lorraine, so long as it's not printable. Anything that's printable is designed to go through a printer and not curl, which means that when it comes to shaping something, it will shape it, but then it won't hold the shape. But yes, you can get away with using parchment quite happily. Again, though, it's the same problem of getting it. You might be more lucky in Spain to be able to get that, but at the moment, in this country, everybody's struggling. For white cardstock, it's also in the same boat. We're having a real problem getting that, so bear with us all. Right, where are we going next? Springtime blooms. So these are all made from springtime blooms. Are they better in this kind of level of zoom? I'm hoping you can see it a little bit better. So this one, I think it's Kathy. Kathy, if you're watching, I think you're on here already. Flower crystals you ordered, and I know I did see a question come up, and I wasn't sure whether, I couldn't remember if I've answered it or not. Flower crystals, we have used them in the centre here just popped a little bit of glue in there that dries clear, pop the flower crystals over the top. We have also used them on this one. So these were just plain white stamens, and all Mum did was add a little bit of glue on the end of the stamen and dip them into the flower crystals. So it's like the pollen on your stamens. We've got another one here that's I think there's one here with purple flowers that we've done the same. This is a different flower, but the same principle on here, that we've just popped a bit of glue and dipped them in. So that is springtime blooms again, done on scrap paper. So mop up your ink, scrap papers, perfect. If you spill something on a patterned paper and ink, or a wet ink, not just an ink pad like you've knocked over your refill or something, fabulous onto patterned paper, and then just cut them out. Which one? I'm running out of room now to push them over. So we will go with a little bit of a mixture. No, we've got some vintage flowers here. I think that's all the vintage I've got out. So again, vintage flowers. Some with stamens in, some with no stamens in, some with bulk flower crystal stamens in. Again, I've literally just, as I'm sure you can imagine, Mum does these shows for us, demos at the shows, and she is completely, she just has boxes and boxes of flowers now. That there's only so many flowers you can use in cards in comparison to how many poor Mum makes at shows, bless her heart. So again, this is Little Lilies and Leaves. It may be a bit thin, Emma, tracing paper. It's worth a try. The worst thing you can do is ruin a piece of paper, but it might be a bit thin to manipulate. I'm not sure if that's also maybe designed to go through printers. So just give it a try. If it doesn't work, so the worst thing that you've done is waste a little bit of your time and one sheet of paper. So as I said, this is Little Lilies and Leaves. So it's you can do it quite less dimensional or very three-dimensional. I was trying to think of a different word there. It didn't make sense, but you know what I mean, ladies and gents. So where are we going next? Buttercup blooms. I've got a couple of those for you. So yeah, as I say, I'm kind of rushing through these now because I do want to get to show you something. Where are we next? Fun flowers. I think we'll just quickly whip those in and show you the fun flowers. Again, we've got quite a lot of different ones made. This one I love. How cool is that? Lots of layers in there, but a really cool one. I really like that one. Lots of dimension. And a few more done with fun flowers. That one also is quite funky. This is just a couple of different colours of ink. My favourite saying, Emma, is it can't kill you and it can't make you pregnant. As long as that doesn't happen, I'm happy. And again, this is a fun flowers one that has been, these would look really cute. I'm trying to do it so that you can see what I mean. Imagine that's upright in a picture frame. How cute would they look just hanging in like one of those box frames? They're like little fuchsias, dancing little fuchsias. Oh, too far. So yeah, there's so many different ones. Last but not least, I don't know what to do with all of these flowers. I've got so many on the table, I can't work with all of these. Bear with me, I'm not putting them on the floor, I promise. Last but not least is our carnation. So I did say to you I would show you briefly how to make the carnation, which we will do before the end of this. But it will be quite a quick one, a quick version of it, because to do the carnation to its fullest, the large one has between 7 and 9 layers to it. So as I said, I won't have time to go through the whole thing with you today, but I will give you a rough start on this. So let me grab my, oh, just lost the one I want, that's the one I want. So we're going to start with some Trio of flowers. Get rid of all my glitter that's all over the table now. And I will just pop this on here. Maisie is around, but she's downstairs. She's making herself very vocal at the moment. I'm wondering if we had to take her out of the way so that she couldn't be seen, or couldn't see where I was, because she would be scratching on the door. Because as of at the moment, I am doing Facebook Live. Instead of being at the unit, I am in my house, which is even madder. So we have got, I'm going to just take this back out if I can to give us a bit more space. There we go. So we've got the Versamark ink. Mine is dirty Versamark ink. I'm terrible for that. I just need to see where, there we go. We've got Trio of flowers. I'm doing it on the larger one, but you can do all of this exactly the same on the smaller ones. Now, I haven't been told what colour. Bless her, my mum did me a few earlier to show you, so I just want to make sure we go with the right colour. I'm doing it with picked raspberry, so hopefully, Mum, you did get here just in time, Annie, for the demos. I've been waffling far too long. So we've inked up the stamp, lots of little light taps to ink up your stamp. Be careful with vellum because it can slip, but as long as you get one image out of you, roughly with the flower, about for this particular flower, you really only need three layers, pretty much. Sorry, I'm just moving something out of my way so that I can stand up. And the nice thing about vellum is the ink doesn't soak into it. So you can normally get 2, sometimes 3 if you've got a newish ink pad, images stamped out. Mine's a very well loved ink pad, so I will try only with 1 or 2. Just stamp that out. But as I said, just be a little bit careful that you don't, might as well use the extra ink that's on there and get a 4th one because I'm tight. It was a good guess then, Mum, hey? Picked raspberry it is. And then we are going to take the white embossing powder. And we're going to sprinkle the white embossing powder all over it. Give it a good flick. If you want everyone to be perfect, use your anti-static bag first. If you don't, and because the oils from your fingers will quite often go onto the vellum. So if just like here, I've got a little bit where I was holding it to show you. There's a little bit within my petal there. I'm not going to have a kitten over that. It can quite happily stay there for all I care. So heat tool. Now you don't have to heat from underneath. I say this all the time. It is my personal choice. You don't have to do it. But all I will tell you to do with vellum is to hold it in the air when you heat it. It allows the heat to travel through, and hopefully that way you won't burn it. So I'm just getting my heat gun warm, and I am going to, just for quickness, because it will be a little bit quicker, I'm going to heat from above. Now when you heat the vellum flowers, do not be tempted to go back and give it that extra, just check that it's all done. Make sure you've got all of that powder heated as you're going along. And mind your fingers because it gets very hot. But don't be tempted to go back and give it that extra, just check it's all done. That's when you start to overheat it. Now, The trick, or the thing you need to know about embossing powder is it's tiny, tiny little particles of plastic, and vellum these days is synthetic, which is also tiny little pieces of plastic. So when you're putting the two pieces together, they don't always want to be friends. So don't be concerned if some of your powder comes off when you're heat embossing or when you're shaping it after you've heat embossed it. So this is what I mean when I say that our dies don't cut into the middle. So I am going to take this all the way down to that centre circle. You don't have to do this, but it will allow you more movement in your flower if you do. So I'm just going to quickly cut this, and the reason I'm cutting it now is because I wanted to tell you that. And I've got a load already cut out but not coloured, so I thought I'd just do it all at once. If you know what colour scheme you're going for and you want to do them all the same colour, colour them before you cut them out, but you may end up wearing quite a bit on your fingers, so be wary of that. I do not recommend you use Distress inks on this with vellum, because they do not really dry properly on the vellum, and it will always continue to rub off. Well, for a very long time it will continue to rub off. Distress oxides are no problem at all, but Distress inks are not friends. So if you remember that, that will make your life a lot easier. So as I said, I've taken that cut on each petal right down to that centre circle. So we'll have some cut and some not cut. You don't have to be perfect at cutting these out. If somebody picks you up because your colouring isn't perfect or your cutting isn't perfect, then my recommendation is you don't send them the same card next year, or don't send them a homemade card next year, handmade card next year. So I'm going to grab my blending brushes. I'll just grab my pink one out of here. Trust me to grab a red one. Pink. And all you do, so you flip this over. You're going to be working on the back. This is the hard bit, and I think my mum might have re-inked that. Warning, might have been a good idea, Mum. Picked raspberry. I'm going to go with, I have more than one picked raspberry, so I'm going to go in with the older one that's not quite as juicy as that one. And I am going to scribble. Literally, I've got ink on the blending brush and I'm just scribbling over the top. You can use the little teardrop inks. Memento inks dry a little bit quick to get this effect, but if you want them to use them and that's all you've got, you can do it. Just be cautious because it's not so successful in getting the ink moved around on the vellum. So I am going to quickly just colour, if you have done them before, or cut them out before you've coloured them, because quite a lot of people don't know what colour scheme they're going for when they start making flowers. So if you just want to cut them or stamp them and cut them out in front of the TV one evening, then you can do exactly that. Back and back. You don't have to cover them all up. You can just do a bit of randomness. As you know, I'm not good at random, people. I'm getting better. I'm doing it a lot more than I used to. Just because these are already cut out, we will go with this one. So they don't have to be solid. There's lots of different levels of shading in there. And then you need a kebab stick, or I use a kebab stick. There's so many different ways of doing this, but I do use the kebab stick. And I'm literally going to, from the back, take the corner of one of the petals and I'm going to roll that in on itself. I'm not tight curling it, just rolling it in on itself. As I say, don't panic if some of your embossing powder comes off, because we're asking a lot of this. and I'm doing that on each individual petal. And you'll end up with something along those lines. See, some of my powder's coming off. Pop it in your hand and you're going to give it a poke and a wiggle. And the heat from your hands helps form dimension to your flower. Okay, so you're going to repeat that, as I said, 2 or 3 times, depending on how big you want that to be. So pop it on the edge of your petal and roll it. You can roll them in different directions if you want to. There's nothing difficult about doing these. It's just having a little bit of, be brave and ask it to do something it might not want to do. So again, I'm not crushing it, but I am holding it. And then your flower springs up and you get a lot more dimension to it. Same here. At least the fact that I'm at home at the moment means that you're not hearing our fabulous neighbours at the unit come in every time we start Facebook Live. They seem to come back from whatever they were doing. So we won't have that problem in here. And then we're going to pop that in the middle, give it a poke and a wiggle. And just hold that in my hand just for a couple of minutes. And there we go, voila. As I said, some of my embossing powder has come off, but don't panic, it doesn't matter. So then the hard bit is putting it all together, and it's not hard at all. So you've got different options for the centres. You can just pop a gem in. I am not sure if we didn't just get frozen for a moment, which could very well have happened. I apologise if it did. So I am literally taking my 3, popping a little bit of glue in the middle there. We still haven't worked out how to stop the phone and the iPad being connected. So if somebody tries to call me, though you don't hear it, I have a feeling it might freeze us. So you may have been frozen for a moment or 2. I apologise. So I'm literally placed a little bit of glue in there and I've put the 2 together. Try and do it so that they don't sit matching petal to petal. And these 3 are all the same size flower. So I haven't put the 3 different sizes that come in each set. So these are the 3. Obviously you get 3 sizes on each set of our flowers, and I haven't put the 3 different sizes here. These are the three cuts of the same size flower, so 3 of the larger ones. And I'm just holding that there for that glue to grip to it, and then we'll pop another little bit of glue in the middle there. And we will pop that one on the top. And you can keep building this up and keep going and going and going. But I've done it as a 3 layer, but you can do it for as many layers as you want. And you can, while you're holding it, you can manipulate it more if you want the petals in a different place, or you want one to sound prouder than the others are. You can just keep fiddling and faffing around with them until you're happy with it. As I said, these are exactly the same flower, but sort of made into look like a bit of a rose, and there's quite a lot of dimension to those. And again, that one has also got the sparkling crystal on there. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment, but I just wanted to put this one together first. So there you go. That's the dimension that you're going to get. 3 individual petals. Now, because we've had this hiccup with the phone call, I just want to make sure that you are still all hearing me and watching. So if anybody is watching, and I know you're all watching and not commenting so that you can see what we're doing, somebody just let me know that we are still going live. That would be lovely. Right, I am just going to wipe this away for 2 seconds. I am here, I promise. I did just nearly fall off the chair though, which wasn't very good. Hear a bang and a crash. That's me falling off my chair. Oh good, I am still there, that's good. Right, so going back to that sparkling crystal. So you've embossed it. You probably would be better to do this before you cut it out, this particular technique, for me. I'm just going to chuck a little bit of ink on there so we've got a little bit of colour to show you. Oh, perfect, it worked. That's what we like. So you've got your flower like so. You are then going to take, let me grab it. I've got long enough arms. The Versamark pen. So the Versamark pen has two different size nibs. So you get one that's like a brush nib and one that is more of like a writing pen nib. So this is the same ink that you have in your Versamark ink pad. Yeah, so it's the same ink that's in your ink pad. Sorry, I was reading what Angela wrote on there. We are aiming to come back down there at some point, Angela, I promise. So we are pink on the back with your inks. You're going to turn this over and randomly, and I can't tell you why, because I don't know the answer, you can go back over with the Versamark ink, and I'm just going to quickly scribble a couple of the petals so that we can see a difference. So this is the Versamark ink pen, and I've scribbled on the petals. I'm going to grab my piece of paper. So with sparkling crystal, let's get all the white out of there before we put the sparkling crystal in that envelope. Sparkling crystal on the top, those 3 petals. That might be something to do with the buffering that you've had then, Marie. I can't answer. Oh, that was nearly white, and I would have been really cross with myself for doing that. I don't want white, I want sparkling crystal. So sparkling crystal is a clear powder with a crystallina glitter in there. And just sprinkling that on the top. And I've only done it on 2 of the 3 petals. I might need to add a little bit darker colour on there so it shows up a bit better. But we'll give it a go. And pop that back in there. So randomly, no idea why, you can now heat emboss this over it again, and it doesn't affect the powder coming off, which is really bizarre, isn't it? Maybe the sticky glue sticks it down, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, so get your heat gun hot, and you're just going to heat that, mind your fingers. As I said, this is why I would recommend you do this bit before you cut them out. Or do it with a pair of tweezers, not with bare fingers. So, right, now I'm going to try and catch the light. Can you see the sparkle on there? I'm not sure if you will pick it up or not, but I think you can definitely see a sheen on those 3 front petals there. These 2 I haven't put it on, but it's definitely, you can see a sheen on there. So it means that whatever colour you put on the back of your flower, I'm going to make this a bit heavier just so that you can see it maybe a little better. So it does show up. Can you see the glitter, Tina? Let's see if we have a darker colour, if we can get it up there and make it shine, shimmer through a little bit better. There you go. So that's just another little trick So you can have sparkly ones without having hundreds of different embossing powders as well. Whatever colour your ink is the colour that your petal will be. So again, just curl it round. As I say, I've only got 3 petals done. Pop in your hand, poke and a wiggle, and it will spring up, and you get your sparkle will start to show through on your petals. So that's just another little idea on what you could do. There are some other little tricks to the trade, and some of you have been on our workshops will have seen this right back when we started. You can make this flower much bigger into like almost like a big medallion, just by building up. So we've got one in the middle and we just popped it on a circle of card, and then you just take more and more individual ones, gather them together and start poking them in and around themselves. So that's what I mean by poking them in and around. So you've got the next stage. This is like one's here, one's here, one's here, one's there, all again all the same size. You just keep building it up and up and up until you end up with a really big full flower. And I thought I had one here, but I don't. So you just build it up, build it up, build it up, and imagine that as a really large flower. In a box frame, fab pictures. And if anybody's watching that's already done this workshop with us, and you've got pictures of the frames you did, we would love for you to post them on our Be Inspired page. And then everybody can see what I'm talking about. Oh, I need that again. So that's the trio of flowers, and you can do this with all of the different flowers that we have. It doesn't just have to be trio of flowers, but I did want to quickly show you, because I am conscious that we've done it, blooming heck, nearly an hour. That's way too much waffling, Amanda. So this is the carnation, and I've done it with the larger one. Again, as I said, to get these larger carnations, you are looking at between 7 and 9 layers for the larger ones. As you go down, and they're all the same size flower. So this is our tiny little one. That's the middle one, and then this is the larger ones. So there are different carnation sizes. So again, I'm going to do this with the white embossing powder. I just want to show you the technique that you need to fold this particular flower. It's slightly different to get the effect of the carnation. Oh, wrong powder. See, look, I wanted white before, and this time I've done it with crystal clear, sparkling crystal. So we'll just have 2 sparkling crystal ones, and I'll ink that again, and we'll do it with white. I'm going to put sparkling crystal away before I do that again. And so, rewind, Amanda. Ink your flower stamp up. I'm going to quickly randomly cut that off because it's going to end up going everywhere, and I don't really want to faff around heating that at this moment in time. White embossing powder. Put that on your image. Oh, there's a lovely big thumbprint on there. As I say, it doesn't matter because I am cutting these out, so it won't be seen. Take the heat tool. Remember, don't overheat this, but you will lose quite a lot of powder on this. We are going to ask a huge amount of this particular flower. But don't panic, you will not notice that it's gone. Are you proud of my thumbprint? I am. Blimey. So, colour these in. blending brush. I'm just doing it with the big blending brush because it's a bit quicker for what we are doing. You can use whatever brushes or blending tools you have. And again, I'm going on quite heavy with it and quite full just because it makes it show up a little easier. And then we're going to cut this out. Probably a little better than that. Now, as I said, this comes with the die. I haven't put it on the die. I do have a die cut machine. I do have the dies with me. I have my little mini die cut machine. We can't get these at the moment. We're trying desperately to find a company that have got these back, that are bringing these back. Our original supplier is no longer bringing them in. So to save a little bit of time, I am going to just pop this die on there. So you're going to line these up roughly. They're not, it doesn't matter if it's not a perfect cut. As I say, I haven't got any tape or anything here. I literally, or have I got some down there that we can use? No, I've left my washi tape next at the office. So I haven't got any washi tape here, so we're going to hope that that stays in place. I pop that down there. Fingers crossed that will stay roughly where I want it to be. You can't see me, I'm being a bit. This probably won't be a perfect cut, but you'll get the idea. That is meant to make that noise, don't panic. It doesn't just break my machine. Well, that's not bad considering I had nothing to hold it down with. It has moved slightly, but you've got a cut out shape. Now, I did mention earlier on when I was waffling on that we don't cut our flowers with the dies into the centre. So just take a pair of scissors and just quickly snip those in. You don't go right to that centre point because that's quite a small one on this one. So you're going to split your petals down quite a long way. You're then going to fold the petal in half, like so, and push it together. And then you are going to bend those petals back on yourself. Oh, I think I froze for a minute. That was a bit weird. So you end up with like a W. Can you see that? So fold your petal in half. Bend the other one, the outer sides back on themselves. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. And then just prise them apart a little bit so that you end up with that shape. All the way around. And as I said before, it's about 7 to 9 depending how full you want it to be with this larger stamp. And pull those petals apart. You'll end up with something that looks like this. And all you're going to do, you're going to keep building them round. Where's my other one? Until you have got, this one's slightly more open, so you've got more of an idea. So you're going to start with the base one, which I haven't folded. In fact, there's 2 layers. Oh, no, yeah, there's 2 layers on there that we haven't folded on that particular one. Just to give you a base, and then you just keep building this up. And as I say, this one isn't as tight, so we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 layers on this one. It's not as packed in as this one is. And hopefully you've got this die then and you know what you're doing with it. So that's 7, that's 9. So it depends on how full you want those to be. We've inked over the edges of this one as well. Literally, once it's all put together, they're solid. They're really, really, like my finger's going white, my thumb's going white, pressing down on that. They don't go anywhere. So you are just going to literally scrape an ink pad over the top. Don't do it with your brand new ink pad, because it may, if they're older ink pads and they're foam, it may take that top off those. Oh, scratch your ink pad, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So that's the fold technique you need for your carnation, so that you get that W. So it's fold your petal in half and then fold your petals back on themselves. Push them in together tight and then just tweak them apart. Seven to 9 like that. Put them together exactly how you saw me put that trio of flowers together earlier, and that will be your flowers. So hopefully I haven't completely flummoxed you. I know it's been a bit of a waffle today, but I wanted to show you all of those bits. I know David specifically asked last week, and I know a lot of you asked further, so we may well go back and cover this again. If anybody's got any more questions, please feel free to email us at honeydewcrafts@gmail.com. You can also post a comment on here on Facebook or on YouTube Lives, both of which I go back and check over and make sure I've answered everybody and haven't missed anybody. Or you can get us through our website, which is honeydewcrafts.co.uk. Everything is available on our website. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So vellum, you like my waffling. I do waffle a lot though sometimes, Lorraine, I do know that. Carol, of course you have to go and have another go at making them. We are flowers. You know we're all about flowers. So that's me, I think. Anybody's got any questions, as I say, email us, get us through our Facebook, through website. Please like and share this as much as you can as well. The more we get in, the more questions get asked, the more information I can pass over to you. Things that I don't think to talk about, people might have the questions for. And remember, no question's a silly question if you don't know the answer. So yeah, that's me done. Hope you will have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will be back next Wednesday.